Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. Yes, it's your Liverpool news update. I'm Steve Hall. Today is Monday, the 11th of September, and yes, the international break is still ongoing. Liverpool not back in action until the weekend, but there are still a few talking points for us to have a little chat about, so get yourselves involved right now. If you're here live on YouTube, or indeed if you're one of our Redmen Plus legends, you can use the Discord as well. And if you're watching after the fact, please do feel free to use the comment section below, or again, if you're one of our legends, you can use the Discord and we can have a good old chat about a few stories. Now, since we last spoke and done one of these updates, there's a couple of news pieces I want to touch on very, very briefly. Now, I know they're a little bit, not so much out of date, but they were a few days ago, but we haven't had a chance to have a conversation with you guys about it. So let's start straight away with a report from James Pearce, which came out Friday afternoon, late afternoon on Friday, saying Kostas Tsimikas is set to sign a new Liverpool deal. According to James Pearce, The Athletic, Tsimikas is set to sign a 2-year extension to his current deal. It'll keep him at Anfield until the summer of 2027. Now, I think if you'd have offered odds on Kostas Tsimikas to win a Liverpool player at the start of this season, I think you might have got it pretty short. I don't know. I think there was a bit of rumours, maybe does he want to leave? Well, Liverpool like to cash in on him. You know, you were talking about potential saleable assets who, I'm not sure, like you could, I don't know the terminology is like get away with losing, but not a guaranteed starter, someone who's got a contract, someone who's got a bit of value about him. I think Tsimikas was one of the few players who you could have said that about, but he looks like not only is he staying for this season, he's going to commit for a further 2 as well. Plu says, nice, I love Tsimikas, which is fair enough. Let's have a little look. Although 811 YT says, Tsimikas deal seems weird considering we don't have a left back. If we played with the original 4-3-3, I'd be very happy. I wonder if it's asset protection. Yeah, listen, my thinking on the 4-3-3 left back thing is, right, is that if Andy Robertson wasn't available and Liverpool played Tsimikas, they might just go back to a 4 and play a normal back 4, or we saw in pre-season it was Kostas actually doing the inverted midfielder thing, so he was walking into midfield. I've got a theory that in the Europa League games, depending on fitness and availability, of course, of other players, I think I wouldn't be shocked if Joe Gomez plays right back in the Europa League, Kostas plays left back, and Gomez plays as more of a defender on the right-hand side, and Kostas becomes the guy who drifts in. So basically, they just flip it from Trent and Robertson. They flip it round. I wouldn't be shocked. I think we saw a little bit of that in pre-season. Craig Bowen says, Bowen? Yeah. He says, great news for the Greek Scouser. And it is great news. Listen, and he's obviously happy with it. Listen, my guess is there's a bit of a pay increase in it as well. He is a rotational option, but I think as backups go, he's a pretty decent one. I don't think he's as good as Andy Robertson, of course, but I do think he's a good option. You're not massively uncomfortable if Kostas has to play in a Premier League game, which is a good place to be. But yeah, look, you know, at his age, it looks like he's quite content to, at the age of 27, to stay at Liverpool for a few more years and see where he gets to. So for me, I'm quite happy with it. And obviously, it says Tsimikas is happy and settled on Merseyside, and negotiations over his new contract have swiftly progressed. Now, going back to the comment before about from 811, who says, you know, is it asset protection? Potentially. But he was under contract till 2025 anyway. So it's a 2-year extension on top of that. So Liverpool weren't really at a position where they were going to lose him for free anytime soon. He still had, you know, the rest of this season and the following year on his deal. But it looks like that's sooner rather than later, I guess. I know he's away on international duty at the minute as Kostas. I know he was suspended for Greece's last game, but so he'll be back in shortly to the country. It looks like he'll be announced with a new contract, which is great news for him. Moving on very, very quickly, just wanted to touch on the Virgil Van Dijk news. As we all know, he was given a game extras ban after his comments after he was sent off at Newcastle, and fined £100,000 fine, which is absolutely huge in the context of what fines are often handed out in these situations. But yeah, Liverpool will be without Virgil van Dijk for the game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. In terms of Virgil's reaction himself, he wrote on his own social media that he says, following the announcement today, I'd just like to make it clear I totally accept the panel's decision. It's the first red card of my Liverpool career, and I let my frustrations get the better of me in an intense and heated moment. I apologised immediately after the game to the officials and take full responsibility. Time to move forward now. I will continue supporting the team in every way I can. So, that's listen, the £100,000 fine is mad. Plu again says the fine is ridiculous. Who gets the money? Virgil himself spoke after the Netherlands game and he said he hopes the money goes to a good cause. I think it goes to charities, and I think Virgil was hinting at that himself, that he hopes it goes right there as well. But it does feel like a big amount of money. The game, again, we don't really know what was the exact words that were said. I think the cameras picked Virgil Van Dijk up, saying the decision was an effing joke and stuff like that. But I do... Yeah, listen, the fines are a lot. The game ban... Listen, if this is the new rule and they're clamping down on it, then that's all right. But they better be consistent about it, because the next time a player goes and abuses a referee or swears at a referee after a decision, then they need to be banned too, and then they need to be fined a massive amount of money too, because that is a big fee that Virgil's been fined. And he misses a game. Obviously, Wolves this weekend, early kick-off. We'll see who's available for Liverpool, because we don't know, obviously. There's still players away on international duty. There's some injury doubts around a couple of them. But with Virgil now suspended, and there's certainly fitness doubts about Trent Alexander-Arnold and Ibou Konate, both dealing with hamstring injuries of different severity and obviously different lengths and stuff. But I know Ibou's been out a bit longer. There is a chance all three of them are unavailable. And if so, that probably means Joe Gomez goes right back with Joel Matip and probably Jarell Quansah as centre-back. So it's a major, major development. Now, I really, really hope that that Konate's fit, and I hope that Trent is fit. But if they're not, then Liverpool are going to Wolves away, a bit underhanded. Harry Crick says, Matip and Gomez have been good for 2 games now. I'm happy with both of them starting. I tend to agree, mate. I'm just talking if Trent's out as well. We don't know where Trent's out. Obviously, he went off injured during the win over Aston Villa, and then, of course, missed England duty with this issue. Now, hopefully he's fine. But we'll see how it goes. If not, 811 YT again says, I'd be happy to see Quansah, and I think it would be Quansah who slips on a centre-half with Gomez at right-back. Of course, Conor Bradley's injured as well. So I do believe Liverpool are a bit hamstrung going to that Wolves game, but we'll see how it pans out in the next couple of days. Hopefully they can get one of the others back, but they definitely won't have Virgil van Dijk for the Wolves game, and Virgil is also a little bit lighter in the pockets after a massive £100,000 fine. So yeah, Joe says Virgil suspended for how long? To confirm, he missed the Villa game, and he's been given 1 game extra ban, which means he misses the Wolves game as well. So he'll be back the weekend after. I wonder if that means maybe, does he play the Europa League game on the Thursday the 21st, or do they just let him have a couple of weeks off? He's played international footy, so it's not like he's completely rusty, and they just save him for that West Ham game a little bit later. But yeah, that's that one, Joe. He misses Wolves, essentially. Right then, let's move on to our next story. And it wouldn't be a Red Men news show, would it, without speaking about Mohamed Salah, even though the Saudi window is now closed. The Saudi charm offensive for Mohamed Salah continues and will continue, of course, right the way through until, well, forever, really. So yeah, this, I'm going to bring a report up in a second from the guys over at This Is Anfield, speaking about the Saudi Pro League Director of Football, Michael Emalo, I think that's how you pronounce his name, talking about Mohamed Salah. Speaking to Sky Sports, he said, if it did or didn't happen, the move obviously in the last window, it's not because we no longer fancy the player or because we have a problem with Liverpool. It's because certain things needed to align for all parties involved in the process, and they didn't align. No one's angry, we move on, but absolutely close no doors. And if the opportunity is there to do things and do it well, it brings Mohamed Salah to the Saudi Pro League. We'll all be very grateful. So yeah, the window's been shut less than a week over in Saudi Arabia, and already the conversation is back to Mo Salah. The comments there says, you know, certain things needed to align for all parties and didn't. I mean, my guess is on that one, that is Liverpool. Liverpool didn't want to sell Mo Salah. I think that's where we're at with that one. But yeah, already you've got a director of the league. And bear in mind, it is the director of the league. That is a major thing. It's very, very rare would you get like the head of the Premier League or the head of another country just directly speaking about transfers. That isn't their role. The Saudi Pro League is, of course, very, very different. The purposes for which it exists are very, very different. The fact that the PIF owns 4 of the teams involved, again, makes it a very, very, very different proposition. But yeah, this story is going to run and run and run and run. And already you've got high-ranking officials talking about Mohamed Salah. Get used to it. Essentially, get used to it. it's going to happen, and it's going to happen quite often. Unfortunately, that's where we're at with this one. Moving, let's have a little look. Harry Crick says Salah's going to leave as a legend next summer to one of the biggest standing ovations you will ever see. I hope he doesn't leave next summer, but as and when Mohamed Salah is no longer a Liverpool player, I'm sure the outpouring of emotion will be massive, really, for an absolute icon of Liverpool Football Club. But already, it's the wheels are turning, and like I say, certain things needed to align for all parties that didn't align. We're still yet to really know where Mohamed Salah's head was at with all of this. Did he absolutely not want to go? Did he fancy it, but Liverpool blocked it? Was it a bit of a case of, well, I'm okay here, but if you want to accept the bid, then I'll go? We still haven't really quite got to the bottom of where Mohamed Salah's with it, where his head's at with it. Now, I really hope Salah gets himself a hat-trick in a game or something down the line, gets a man-of-the-match performance and goes in front of the cameras, and maybe then someone could speak to him about it. If he'd have scored the winners against Newcastle other than Darwin, or he'd got another couple of goals against Villa, I do wonder if he'd have been the man talking, and then we'd find out where his head's at, maybe. But we don't know where we're at this time of it. But yeah, already we've got different players in this particular field, and in this case, of course, a chief of the Saudi Pro League, a director, already talking about Mo Salah. It's going to be a long process. Hopefully he stays for a long time, but he's going to be spoken about a lot. With it all being said, right, Liverpool were, I don't know if caught on the hop is the right phrasing, but they weren't ready to sell Mohamed Salah, of course, in the summer, especially when the bid came in so late. But it would be remiss of Liverpool now if they weren't already doing their homework to consider Mohamed Salah's replacement, because there's a chance he goes next year. There's a chance he doesn't, of course. He's under contract for 2 years, but there's also a chance that he does. And that leads me on to today's final story here on the news show. According to a report from 90 Min, Liverpool are keeping tabs on Brighton winger Mitoma. Now, I'll bring this up here, Kaoru Mitoma. It says that Brighton are confident of giving him a new deal with Liverpool, Manchester City, and I think it was Barcelona. Let me just clarify that one. All interested in, it was Barcelona and Napoli, all keeping tabs on the skillful winger's future. So yeah, Brighton are looking to tie down Mitoma to a new deal. Now, Brighton, they're a selling club per se. They just, of course, drive a very hard bargain. There's a reason they got £115 million from Moises Caicedo. Liverpool, quite frankly, had their pants down a little bit when they signed Alexis McAllister for cheap. And you do wonder if Mitoma signs a new deal, would they be some type of release clause but baked into it? I don't know. But if Liverpool are looking for a replacement for Salah, maybe it looks like Mitoma might be one on the list. Before we get to that, Derso in the Discord brought a chat up, said we should extend Salah for 2 more years. I don't see why people want him gone. We can still get £100 million plus in 2 or 3 years still. And you're right, I'm quite happy for Mo Salah to stay, but I'm basing these conversations, and Liverpool should be, on the fact that Salah says next summer, I don't want to sign a new contract, and then you either keep him for a year and lose him for free, or you cash in and try and find a replacement. Now, Mitoma, I think, is a very good player. Plu says the same. I'd like Mitoma. He's a talent. And yeah, he absolutely is a talent. I like him, says Brand, but he prefers left wing too, and we need an out-and-out right winger. That is the thing with Mitoma. He is very much the right winger who cuts in. He plays on the left and cuts in on his right foot, rather. Liverpool on the other side probably don't want that. Now, what I would say is that plans can change. Mitoma's record for Brighton since he signed for them, 45 games, 11 goals, 11 assists. So he's clearly got decent numbers, and he's only improving, of course, and there's plenty of time for him to grow. Now, he is 26. I wonder if that's the market Liverpool want to be shopping in. Do they want to go younger? I don't know. He'll be 27 by the time this season ends. But there's an option that they bring someone in like Mitoma, maybe they move Luis Diaz. It all goes to show, really, that finding left-footed right wingers will not be easy. A lot, I saw links to Jarrod Bowen today, and Jarrod Bowen's a good player. Maybe he is a potential option. But again, this is Mohamed Salah you're replacing. It's going to be really, really, really tough. Now, what I would say about Mitoma, he fits some of the bill. I think he's got a bit of pace about him. He has definitely got an eye for goal. He's got eye for assists as well. So I can see why he would definitely be on the radar for Liverpool, because He's doing it in the Premier League. He's doing it for Brighton, a team who you know you can get players out of, albeit, like I mentioned before, it might not be the cheapest deals. There's a lot of big teams sniffing around him. He's of a good age, maybe a little bit slightly older than Liverpool would want, but I think you're splitting hairs there. Maybe if you sign him down to a 4-year deal at the age of 27, is that the end of the world? I don't know. But King Jason says, I'd like someone younger, please. Yeah, feel free to get some names in there. As AWSC says, Klopp will want wide players to be pacey and quick with good finishing. And I do believe Mitoma fits that bill. Adeyemi or Nico Williams are also good options, says Mohamed. Yeah, Nico Williams of Bilbao, I think that is not former Liverpool right back Nico Williams. So yeah, there's on the Mitoma stuff, like I say, keeping tabs is very, very, it's not the biggest headline in the world, is of course Liverpool will be aware of Mitoma and they'll be watching him. I like him. I could see a deal being done, but the conversation is absolutely right. He is very left-footed. Sorry, he's very right-footed on a left wing. Liverpool have got Diaz, Liverpool have got Jota. Nunes can go and play out there if he wants to as well. Gakpo's all right playing over on the left. Liverpool haven't really got anyone else on the right-hand side at the moment. It's a bit of Ben Doak, maybe a Harvey Elliott over than Salah, of course. And then do you move Luis Diaz? So, I don't know, let's have a look. Rob Davies says, let Napoli get Mitoma and we'll have Kvaratskhelia, please. The only thing with Kvaratskhelia, right, and I think he's brilliant, his close control is immaculate, and listen, he tore Liverpool up in Naples last year. The numbers aren't amazing in terms of goals. The numbers aren't brilliant. Now, he's a really good footballer, and that can, of course, change. He's a young player. That can get better. But I do wonder if Liverpool are looking at absolute numbers. When you lose Mo Salah, you're losing effectively a numbers machine. He guarantees you goals and assists every single season. 10 Premier League games now on a row with a goal or an assist, and he's been doing it constantly since the day he arrived. It's going to be massive, massive boots to fill. Liverpool are going to have to get that one right. Who knows when that time is? But like I say, going back to the earlier story with the Saudis already talking about future moves and stuff, I hope I'm wrong, but it's already starting to feel like more of a when than if Mo Salah ends up in Saudi Arabia. I hope it's a long time away. But like Jörg Schmadtke, whether it's him, whether it's the data people or whatever, they do need to be working on getting a replacement. Listen, and if they can, and if the numbers maybe work out, I think there's definitely a case to say to Liverpool sign one in January, have him in the building, and then Salah goes in the summer. So if Salah, the conversations can happen now with Mo Salah, of course. What are you thinking? What are your plans? Do you want to sign a new deal next summer or whatever? And if he says no, then maybe Liverpool did a little bit of this when they signed Luis Diaz, knowing they might lose Sadio Mane. They did it when they signed Cody Gakpo, knowing they probably were going to lose Roberto Firmino. I wonder if they look in January to see if they can get someone in, and therefore you're not replacing Mo Salah because that's a hard job. But if you're in the squad already and then Mo leaves on, not only if you had a couple of months in England or whatever, depending on where you're playing, you've also been around Liverpool for a little bit, you get it a bit. And then also you're not tagged with just saying you are Mo Salah's replacement. We've seen before teams sell a big player and the pressure on the next fella to come in who's been bought with that money is immense. I only have to think back, when they sold Liverpool, sold Luis Suarez, Balotelli and Ricky Lambert, and it was like, not only were there was questions about the levels of those players, there was also questions of the pressure that was put on them. So really hope Liverpool, whatever they're doing, I hope the conversations are happening now with Salah and his camp, and I hope they're amicable as well, easy for me to say. And we're just going to figure out exactly where Salah's head's at and what he's going to do. Now, if he does want to leave and you do sell next summer, fair enough. Mitoma, again, the real Cal Jones says Premier League proven might be the way to go. Again, Liverpool might have to change the team, how the team works. Do you become a bit more functional on the right-hand side and you try and get all your goals from the left-hand side? Who knows? I've seen Diaz play on the right before. It's not going to be easy, of course it's not. But I do like Mitoma. I think he's a very good player. And even when he leaves, Brighton at some point, they're going to make a lot of money on him and he's going to go on and play for a very good football club. I think he's a very good player. Alejandro talks about Elise as the type of player that he would like. I know we nearly joined Chelsea in the summer before signing a new deal, so maybe he's one. Griffin would go for Brian and Mbeumo and sign 2 defenders. So, yeah, already, look, with all due respect to those players, they are good players. But signing a lad from Brighton or a lad from Palace to replace Mo Salah, huge boots to fill. Liverpool have been really, really good at their recruitment, so they might get it right. I don't know. But time will tell. But yeah, there's a lot of... what's the word? There's a lot of angst, I think, about the Salah stuff still. I don't think it's ever going to go away. So Liverpool are going to continue to be linked with forwards. And we'll see how that one pans out. But yeah, that was it really in terms of news today. Not too much going on as the Reds are coming back from international break. But we talked about Kostas, we talked about Van Dijk, we talked Salah, and then we talked Mitoma. Thanks very much for those who watched live on the YouTube channel. If you're watching this after the fact, please do use the comment section below. Let me know which forwards Liverpool should be looking at for future transfers. If indeed Mohamed Salah does end up leaving at some point, he will at some point anyway. So which wingers / forwards, wide forwards would you be looking for the Reds to sign? So I want to give you guys a quick heads up of what's coming here on Redmen over the next few days. Later on the YouTube channel that I'm recording, the Originals podcast, it'll be Paul, Chris, Dan and Chloe. Afterwards over on Redmen Plus, the Biased Football podcast as well, where they'll be having a big old laugh about some of the teams around the league. There's more to come this week. Neil Jones is here for Journo Insights on Thursday. Got some expert insights with Dan Club coming this week as well, including potential talk of a sale of Liverpool and how premature that might be. So yeah, whether it's here on YouTube or over on Redmen Plus, we've got you covered every step of the way. So if you like what you watch here and you want even more of it, please do head over to redmenplus.com. Give it a go. I'm sure you'll enjoy it and you'll get extra content as well. Right, that's enough from me. We'll see you all next time on the news update. See you later.
Hey, thank you so much for watching the show. You're amazing. And if you want to signify your legendary status, then head over to redmenplus.com. Join as a legend tier subscriber. Not only you get all of the great video and podcast content, you'll also be entered into our monthly prize draw for great signed Liverpool gear. And you'll get access to our Discord as well, full of amazing Liverpool supporting human beings. Head to redmenplus.com and join as a legend tier today.